Welcome to A Higher Future in Healthcare, where we're exploring obstacles and solutions to healthcare's growing workforce demands. Tune in to hear from thought leaders as they share their perspectives on strategy, technology, AI, and people who are paving the way for transformative change. Hey everybody, welcome back to A Higher Future in Healthcare, and we're in the middle of our special series on AI in healthcare, really focused on just clarifying a lot of the questions around AI that I know a lot of healthcare leaders have, and putting new perspectives on AI, and hopefully, giving people something more to think about before they just go and flip the switch on a new AI system that they don't really know anything about, right? Or they don't know how it's going to impact their business, their employees, their patients, their community, that sort of thing. And so today I'm excited to have an old friend back on the show, Beth Rudden. How are you, Beth?
I'm great, UV. It's so great to be back and talking to you today.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so great to see you again. And so tell us a little bit. I want you to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your background and what you're doing now. And then we're going to get into this conversation that I'm really excited about.
Sure. So I have a background in building out old school artificial intelligence and information systems and analytics for large enterprise companies. And in 2022, in late 2022, I opened my own company called Beth AI. And Beth is really about changing the paradigm and the narrative for how we can use AI as a practical partner in our everyday life. And what we have been doing is, I think there's so much to discover on how users and people, individuals, are going to be changed by using artificial intelligence, as well as how we can utilize artificial intelligence that we really trust and that we want to understand where the data comes from, and AI that can show its work, and AI that can explain itself. And everything that we're doing in BAST is really building out artificial intelligence that shows the human values of attribution and only using the compute that it needs in order to be able to provide the right answer to the right question at the right time. And the story that we're really trying to get people to think about is the fact that the key to the promise of AI is hyperpersonalization.
Mm-hmm.
And every individual has, their own data that they've been, pushing out into these systems in ways that has been sort of harvested without their consent or without their knowledge. And I'd love to invert that paradigm and show people what it's like to actually interact with an artificial intelligence that they can truly trust, because it shows its work. It tells you where it gets its information from. It tells you why it's giving you the answer that it's giving you. And Ubi and I just had a lovely conversation about how we could utilize this, not only in healthcare, but in the places where the people are closest to the problem. Those are the people that really need to be augmented with artificial intelligence so that we can really empower them to utilize an AI as a practical partner and get the majority of people on Earth used to having an AI that shows its work, that really shows where the data is coming from, to make sure that they know that they can trust it, because that AI is trained on their protocols as a medic or their protocols as a construction worker. And that's super important to me, because I think that we should be building software that expresses what we value as human beings.
I mean, I love it. I love it. There's so many things in there. And I think what we wanted to focus on today was that trust factor, because there is a lot of, I think, miscommunication, fear mongering going on as it relates to AI. And people just don't have a true understanding of the relationship that needs to be built between something like that, right? It's not just another software program, or it shouldn't be anyway. And
That's right.
there's a quote you have on your website, in the front page of your website, by Mark Cuban, which is, where there is no transparency, there is extraordinary risk, which I think is very prudent,
Mm-hmm.
especially for healthcare, right? To your point, where is this information coming from? I mean, right now, sure, there's Chat GPT and things like that, but are we sure? Like, yes, it's scraping the internet, but are we sure? Where is that information coming from? Why did the system surface that information? So how do we start to build a relationship with AI? How do we build that trust?
So I think it's, and I always really try to make this statement because people can't be curious or can't can easily conceive of something that is counter to the existing narrative that is out there.
Mhm.
And so you can't be curious about things that you don't know about. So one of the things that I've been trying to, and we showcase with our technology, is that you can have artificial intelligence that is able to say, well, here is the paragraph on the page, and here's a picture of the page that you were asking about. And this is why I, as the AI, or why the AI gave you this page at this moment in time, because you asked this question with these words that were synonyms of this other word and this other concept. And that, it sounds excruciating in the sense that you have
Yeah,
all of this, like all of these like pieces that you have to kind of put together in
yeah.
order to be able to show all of the work. But the reason that we in BAST really started in education and healthcare, and we started in this vertical, is because we're intrepid about going into a medical world that requires certainty and requires test, retest, reliability, and requires inspection of the work and auditability and all of those things. Because we really want, the nurses, the providers, we want the medics to be able to trust this technology. And the
Mhm.
only way to do that is to marry the deterministic models that we have and the old school models that we've been building for 20 plus years
Mhm.
with the new technology, and put that together in a way that really accelerates people's ability to rely on artificial intelligence, that gives its references and gives
Mhm.
its attribution, and then really provides the user the understanding that it understands what you're saying, because it shows you the words that you use. And
Yeah,
I gave you an example about 30 minutes ago. But one of the harder things technically is to understand state or memory, and
yeah,
how do you put that into an artificial intelligence? And that's a hard trick, because that's typically in knowledge management or information systems. It's in a whole power or discipline that is not yet linked to the people who are building artificial intelligence models. So there are
right.
two different types of engineers. But what if in the AI that we're building, is it says, well, Beth, you were asking these questions a couple weeks ago about your parent who is having this problem with their
Mhm.
health. A new study has been surfaced. Here is the study. Would you like to see it? And have the AI understand and be able to belay back to you what
Yeah,
you put in as questions and data, and then connect that with new information. And that is achievable. It is possible.
yeah,
And we are seeing that yet, because we're not looking at AI as this social software that is learning and growing and changing as a result of your questions, of your interactions on a personal level.
yeah,
And that's what I want people to think about. Is day one, you get a conversational AI. Day two, you're interacting with a conversational AI. Day three, the AI is analyzing the conversation. Day four, the AI is changed and adjusted based on that
Mhm.
conversation. And that's the type of continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous understanding that we should have of an artificial intelligence is something that learns and grows with our interactions, not with
Yes.
the cumulative interactions of data that is out there. And that's something that
Yeah.
I really I want people to think about. And I think that we could be doing this in a very different way.
Yeah, I love it because a couple things there. To me, it's putting all of us in the driver's seat in terms of
Yes.
building a relationship. And because to your point, there are a lot of AI driven software platforms out there, but they're only as good as who developed them, right? And that's where we get into a conversation about ethics and things like that, right? And we've seen failures where, for lack of a better description, you have a bunch of white dudes who made this AI that's now excluded all women from
Mm-hmm.
whatever it's analyzing, resumes or whatever. We've seen that happen. And so this is now flipping it, to your point, and putting us in control. We're in control of our own data. And now we're able to develop a relationship in a way that I don't think we've done before or had the opportunity to do with technology, which becomes really powerful because I think all of us would love to just have somebody, in our ear who we could talk to, um, that was like a friend or a family member, but not. I think there's a
Yeah.
comfort
Yeah.
there where there's a separation there where they're not that close and they're not another human necessarily, but it's like that because it gets me and I can, it can remember things like it. And that's why I think this idea of this is such an amazing way to shift the perspective on how we think of AIs is that it is a relationship. It should be, right? Like
That's right.
that's what you're trying to achieve, I think.
To,
Yeah.
to to build a relationship, you have to base that on trust. To build trust,
Yeah.
you have to earn it by showing your work, and earn it
Yes.
by saying, or in conversation, saying, I understand what you're saying within the context of what you're saying. And
Mm-hmm.
that is something that we haven't seen and we haven't done yet. And the practical part of me is, just at this moment, our MVP is to say, well, we can showcase artificial intelligence that shows its work, and we can start by building people who have that, and users who have that relationship with an AI that really, not only shows its references, but shows why those references were surfaced, so that if a user is saying, okay, well, I need the answer to this question, and the AI gives them the answer, and then the user rephrases that question, and then the user doesn't interact with that AI anymore. The AI should know that it needs to do better because
Mm-hmm.
it lost the engagement. And we don't
Yeah.
have that facility today because people are doing, brute force methodologies of using end user feedback that is pretty dubious in nature by using like thumbs up and thumbs down. There's so much of a better way if you think about artificial intelligence as software that is growing and learning from your social interactions,
Yeah.
and it should respond to you in a similar way that we respond to other people that we are building
Yeah.
relationship with.
Yes. And I think that's what will be really powerful because everybody wants that individual interaction, right? They want to be treated. I'm a unique person and I want to be communicated to as such. We see that in advertising, and we
Mm-hmm.
expect that, even though this brand is trying to win over billions of people. Everybody wants to be talked to as an individual. So why not
Mm-hmm.
in this case too? But imagine the power of that. Let's like just for a couple minutes more, let's talk about like what does this look like in the future? What does this look
Mm-hmm.
like for someone who's medical in the medical profession in a rural area, right? Or what does this
Mm-hmm.
look like in an emergency situation? What are the possibilities?
So we've been, playing around with this idea of, filling the artificial intelligence with good information and then
Mhm.
having the AI be able to answer questions within a particular domain and surface the right information at the right time without utilizing internet connectivity to be able to increase
Mm.
access.
Yeah.
So, if somebody is in a rural area and they nick an artery, then they need to raise their leg. Giving people that information that could be life saving from an AI that can operate off the battery on your iPhone or operate on solar power. And being able to distribute this knowledge and distribute it in a way that is conversational, where people can ask it a question and it can be either are framed for their particular environment or their particular region, locality. There's so many things that we can do in order to specialize this knowledge in order to really personalize. We're at the juncture as well that we know that our data that we're giving away when we play a stupid little game on Facebook, or if we play, or if we're interacting with Amazon, we're giving away our data. We're not really receiving anything in return because that data is being used by a corporation in order to fundamentally outrage us or to engage us in their platform, where they're really counting how much engagement time you're in the platform. But for what reason? Is to keep you engaged in the platform to sell you more things. There's such a better way to do that, where if you look at the science fiction of like Ender's Game or Young Ladies Illustrated Primer, of where we're actually distributing knowledge and we can increase workforce mobility. And this is something that I am really interested in doing, where we can give people, we can first of all open up the market of the workers to all of the people who probably already have the skills, but they don't have the language in order to
Yes.
know that they have the skills. And the example I use all the time is the mom who has 4 children under 10. She knows how to do conflict resolution. She knows how to do supply chain. She knows how to do logistics. She knows how to do all of these skills that employers need, but she might not have the language of why she has those skills. So why not have an artificial intelligence teaching children, teaching people that what they are learning is very valuable. And you sort of asked what the future looks like in a medical situation. Years from now, we're not going to have people who have to be trained to read radiology reports, because
Mhm.
radiology reports will be in natural language that everybody can understand. We have to start thinking about what are these things that we have, obscured with the mentality that you need a 4-year degree to interpret them. Like, we need to start thinking about how we can push AI to the systems and push the models to the places that need that type of interpretability and that type of transparency, so that people can get the information without having to get a 4-year degree to get the information that they need. And
Absolutely.
that's a totally different paradigm than where we are today, and really removes this need for these hierarchical institutions to be able to dole out the information. This is
Yeah.
this is knowledge that we can distribute in ways that we can't even conceive of, because we don't necessarily have the language to be curious about how to act about this information that we need.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I can't thank you enough, Beth, because this conversation has just got me really excited. Like it's given me a new perspective, and I think that's what we're trying to do is help people see this in a different light and understand the true power, not only of the technology, but of our people, our employees, our workforce, because we hold the key, I think is what you're really saying at the end of the day is we're that key to making this stuff, making this technology, making this this relationship work with AI.
Mm-hmm.
And that is pretty powerful. It still keeps us in control. Doesn't mean Skynet's coming. That's a whole other different conversation that we'll have another day. This one, though, this really gets me excited for the power that we have to work with AI and really create something super powerful. So thank you very much for the conversation, for your time. Any last parting thoughts?
A parting thought for everyone, and this is something that I've been, informed by lots and lots of different amazing humans that are doing all this great work. AI is a reflection of the people who created it.
Mm,
We need a bigger, wider representation to really start to get to that promise of AI, which is hyper personalization. So imagine a world where everybody understands how they can create their own artificial intelligence for themselves to express who they are. And that's going to change the paradigm. And I think that, that fear, that age, that fear mongering that's out there, it is just simply a reflection of the people who are in control of the few people who are in control of the economics and the money of the AI. They have the most to lose. So of
yeah.
course they're afraid. So what if we distributed it? We will not have that fear. We're going to have much more agency and human agency in how to utilize AI as a partner.
I love it. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in again. And yeah, something to think about. Thank you all. See you next time.
Thank you.
A Higher Future in Healthcare is a production of IIA Healthcare, a healthcare technology company and creators of Interview IA, an interview platform for healthcare organizations to streamline their interview processes to deliver unparalleled candidate experiences and to create a true competitive advantage for delivering quality care. Learn more at www.iahealthcare.com.